Oh, we are back in the friendly confines. What's good, everybody? Welcome in to The Last Word. We are live on the Stadium Network and all of their platforms. You can watch us on Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV, Roku TV. Coming up in 6 weeks, another gigantic platform is going to be added to it. We're available in over 100 million homes. I am the coach. We have 3 big shows coming out of the BTT studios. Do not forget, every single weekday morning, Coaching Company Sports betting, also right here live on Stadium. Now, you guys know I don't do this show by myself, and we've got a lot to talk about. John Cena, Cody Rhodes in Brussels, and my crew, my partners, they have a lot to say about it. Oh, my goodness. You know she is the #1 Cody Rhodes fan in the world. Please say good evening to the one and only Gabby Laspisa. Gabby, have you calmed down? It's been a few hours. We had an afternoon edition of Raw today.
What an afternoon delight it was. Let me tell you, I was hyped up at 3:30 in the afternoon. I didn't know what to do with myself, but we made it. I calmed down a little bit for you guys, so we got to talk about it.
Tommy, right now my headspace. She said afternoon delight, and she had to. All right, I got to move on before I get in trouble. All right, he's 32 years inside of the WWE. This man knows wrestling inside and out. Big Tommy C. Good evening, Big Tommy.
What's up, Coach? What's up, Gabby? I'm ready to go. Let's do this right now, Coach.
All right, let's do it. Coming up in about 12 minutes or so, we've got promo school. We've got a Vince McMahon sighting in 45 minutes. And what's going on with the ladies? Gabby's head is popping off her shoulders. But we got to start with a heel promo heard round the world. And Gabby, I'm going to start with you. It was a master class. John Cena, haven't seen him since he turned heel, came out, and in an audience that doesn't speak English, they knew some chants, but he had the crowd eating out of his hand for 25 to 30 minutes. What's your take on the beginning of Raw tonight and seeing John Cena as a heel for the very first time?
I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be. He's John Cena. You knew he was going to cut the promo and it was going to be beautiful. I honestly didn't think it was going to be as natural for him as it was, but that's who he is. And the crowd was just hyping me up while I was sitting at home with the boos and the FU Cena and the back and forth. And I'm like, when did they learn all this English in Brussels? Because it's amazing. They know all the good words to throw at Cena. And he was just phenomenal at it. When they cut to the little kid, when he said "you too" over there, and they showed that little kid face in his shirt, that gif will be everywhere this entire year about absolutely everything, and I can't wait to see it. It was one of the best starts to Raw that we've seen in a long time.
I don't think there's any question about that. Tommy, let me come over to you, because if you truly, and I was a heel for a few years and I loved it. There is a fine line between turning a promo into a heel promo and flipping it around into a babyface promo. He used all the years of being a babyface and saying you wanted more, and it wasn't good enough. And I was like, damn, maybe he really did feel like that. What was your take on Cena today in Brussels?
Impeccable, Coach. That was a top 10 promo. He embraced his heelness. And let's get into what he was talking about. Just think you're John Cena for 25 years. You've had a boss who's been slamming you down the throat for years to be the ultimate babyface. And that's what he is. He would go into arenas where here, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Imagine hearing that day in and day out. Every time you're in an arena, no wonder why he is the way he is. And that's the way he cut that promo. It's because of you I'm like this right now. And he cut such a great promo. It was unbelievable. The pointing to the kid, that was the money part. But he's embracing his heelness. And that's what a true superstar does, Coach.
I thought about this because I've you guys know I traveled with Cena for fairly long time. I know how good of a guy he is. I know how much the kids mean to him. And I know little Johnny sitting in the front row, that I thought to myself, he's got to be a little bit conflicted, because even though the final boss and them, they've been very clear, this is a show. This is Hollywood. You're a character when you're on the show. When you're out the show, that's not who you are. But, Gabby, that's not what pro wrestling is. And to a lot of fans who were there, and especially, this is the first time that this Brussels crowd has ever seen the WWE in person, ever. So to them, this is all real. And for John Cena, did you feel like maybe a little bit that when he got back behind the curtain. Maybe he needed to have a moment by himself because this is 25 years of the crowd eating, especially international crowds, eating him up, and they literally booed him out of the building.
I almost felt like it in the beginning too, when he was just standing in the ring and he was letting the crowd chants like get deeper and louder and he was just sitting in it, that you could tell in his eyes he was just taking it in, because that had to be you don't know how it's going to be when you walk out there and you make the entrance, and you don't know how overwhelming it's going to be, but like you could tell he was just standing there, and obviously that impacted the dramatics of it and made it feel way more real and way better. But like I felt maybe even in that moment he was like, holy shit, this is really what we're doing, this is really what's happening, and I really am heel, and these people are conflicted and they do hate me, and let's go. Because I feel like that revved the fuel behind his promo, and that's why it started as strong as it did, and it just stayed that strong and so natural. Man, I wish we saw him as a heel sooner, honestly, because he's so good at it.
He's so good at it. And part of what he was talking about was over the years, he kind of followed The Rock's lead. And in 2002, I remember, and I had a conversation with The Rock. I was like, are you going to try and do both? And then Rock's agents at the time told him, no. If you're going to go do movies, you have to leave. And he did. And his movies made no money because the wrestling crowd says, we're not going to support you. Cena did the exact same thing. So, Tommy, every time that he would come back and forth and then he would win another championship, the crowd didn't necessarily want it, but then the kids loved him and they bought all of his merchandise. And did you notice tonight he's wearing the Farewell Tour merchandise? And I couldn't help but think to myself, how many of those are they truly selling now? Because little Johnny, when you take your 2 or 3 kids to, you get one t-shirt or you get one hat, you pick it out. Are they picking out his now? I don't think so. I don't know if I saw really any Cena shirts, but there's a lot of layers to this thing.
There's a ton of layers to this. And he, you know what, Coach? He is so good at doing what he does. He just puts himself in that mindset of where you got to go and how to perform it and how to do it. And he just goes with it. He is just such an incredible human being. And then when Cody came out, it was like they made the whole storyline right there. Cena knows how to play that crowd either way. And he gave him his opinion tonight about what he went through in 25 years. That was the meat of the crux of that promo. It was just incredible, Coach.
You're watching The Last Word. We are live every single Monday on Stadium. You can watch us on social media, also YouTube, but we prefer that you watch us on Stadium. We're available in over 100 million homes. Gabby, Big Tommy, I am the coach. So let's talk about Cody for a second, because it was about Gabby, I would say, 20 to 25 minutes in before we get the American Nightmare music, and the crowd, boy, the pop was amazing, but the promo was very, very short. And I think they were playing in the fact that the crowd wouldn't understand everything he was saying. But what he did say, I thought was very powerful. Your take?
100%. I loved that it was short and sweet, and I love that there was no physicality because you didn't need it. I don't think if he would have came
Never.
out and they did anything physical, it would have impacted the segment whatsoever. I think the timing was perfect. I think what Cody said was perfect because the reaction of the crowd told the story more so than even the words that were being said, and that's such an incredible thing. But you can't tell me Cody's not one of the most over babyface champions of all time with that reaction that they gave him. They made a chant for him that I was like, that's not even a chant we have for him in the States. It was just made up on the spot. The Cody wrote, like, it was amazing. So I'm like, if you're just watching that and you don't know pro wrestling, you know who the good guy is, you know who the bad guy is without any backstory. And that's what's beautiful about what's happening right now. You know it just by watching it. And that's what Netflix is doing for everybody watching that isn't a pro wrestling fan.
And that's the beauty, Gabby and Tommy, of having Netflix. There's good and there's bad. But in social media, in the social media world of 2025, you cannot have that show air on tape. And now that Netflix is available in 85% of the world, it made it natural to watch it live. It was trending live. And on Mondays, the Monday of March Madness, this was a perfect time to have it. And then you can still watch it at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But I felt like it was even more special, Tommy, to have it in the middle of the afternoon, which I did not feel that way leading up to it. But I was stuck in the Phoenix airport, and me and Gabby are texting each other, and I'm like, at least I've got something to watch as I'm waiting on my delayed airplane. And then when Cody came out and the crowd went bananas, I thought to myself, I remember the European crowds and the foreign crowds were always so great. You would show up, Tommy, and the crowds are behind the arena. They're at the hotel. They literally are on top of you. I loved going to Europe. You go for 10 days at a time. They're over there for 3 weeks. I don't know how the travel is, but if the rest of the events and the shows are as hot as this one, I can't wait for the next Cody John Cena interaction, and I don't know when that's going to be.
Well, I hope it's next week in I think they're in Scotland next week. I'm not sure. But here's the other thing, and they should never touch, coach. These guys should not have physical altercation, anything going on, not until WrestleMania. That story has to be told. They should not have physicality at all every time they go one-on-one. Cody's promo was short, sweet. I've never seen Cody so serious in my life. He made me believe that. He is dead serious about getting in Cena's rear end, and I can't wait to see it. In that short time, he cut that promo and dropped the mic on Cena. I'm in the storyline now. I can't wait to see these two again.
I am. He cut him off, and he also I love when you can put somebody over, Gabby, in the middle of being the babyface. And he has said he was my hero growing up because Cody came in after Cena had been around for 8 to 10 years, and that doesn't go away just because Cena's a heel now. So even tonight, he's like, I don't want that Cena. I don't want a little whiny bitch Cena. I want the Cena that I grew up idolizing so I can beat you at WrestleMania, and I'm the one that keeps you from the title number 17. And that's a storyline, Gabby, that I can sink my teeth into.
Yes, that's the words of a real champion. That's someone who's confident in themselves as a champion and knows their worth and knows their strength as a champion, as opposed to some other champions that we'll get into later that I'm not that happy with. But that's exactly how you have to do it. Cody's not going to be scared that it's John Cena coming after him and he decided to be weak and align with The Rock because he couldn't do it himself after all these years. Guess what? You want to beat me? Cool, come and beat me, but be the guy that I looked up to, because that story is everything. And it's amazing. And by the way, my favorite thing about Cena was how calm he was the entire time. He's angry, but he's calm, which just makes him even scarier as a heel. He's not like a crazy heel. He's not like a little boy who's just angry and pissed off. He's calm because he knows what he wants and he knows why he's angry, and it makes sense. It was just all so good.
The other thing I thought about was that the show on A&E. I was watching in my hotel room down in Florida last night, and they were cutting the promos on the show. And I thought, what if these young kids are watching this right now? And you literally are watching a master Tommy at work. And the other part of the Netflix deal that is so nice is there's no length of time. So
That's
tonight
right.
he was able to let it breathe and not worry about, man, we've got to get to the first break. We got to get to the crossover at 9:00. There was none of that. And so he probably let it go a little bit too long, but the crowd was so hot that he was feeding into it and they had nowhere to go.
Yep. You know what the best part of that whole thing was, Coach? Was the finish and the way TV production did it. Cody said it. He dropped the mic. He left Cena standing. The announcers didn't say a word. All you did is hear the crowd. They went to the wide shot and they went to black. That's telling a story right there. Cole knew not to say anything. Corey Graves laid out. You let the fans hear it. The mic dropped. Cena left standing in the ring. Cody walking out. Unbelievable.
But by the way, what about Pat McAfee saying, I'm not going to Brussels, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to stay back in Indiana. Hey, Corey, you get your ass on the airplane and you fly from New York over to Brussels because I ain't going.
Yeah.
That's another flex by Pat McAfee. It just is. It just is. It just is. All right. Great start to the show, guys. Great to the start. We still have a lot to come. We're here for a full hour every single Monday night. I'm telling you, the next couple of weeks, Gabby's going to be hosting, so you guys don't want to miss that as well. So still to come, you heard Gabby. There's some champions that didn't quite make a lot of sense on Monday Night Raw today. We'll talk about that. And also, did you see who showed up at Madison Square Garden a week after WWE Raw was there? But coming up next, was it just filler? Was it just sending a superstar out there for nothing other than to fill 8 minutes? We'll discuss it next. Brought to you by WWEshop.com. Get all of your favorite WWE merchandise right here. Get that QR code and get everything you want. And tell them BTT sent you. We're live on Stadium. Come on back.
DemerBox. What is a DemerBox? A DemerBox is a rugged portable speaker. It's a vault to hold all your things, keep them dry and safe, and it's a charger. You know, you're looking at 40 hours of playtime. So we charge this thing maybe once a week when we're traveling and adventuring. There's volume controls on the outside of the box here, so you can turn it up and down. If you have your phone inside there charging, it's nice and safe and dry. All right, so we're gonna hook the DemerBox to our phone. I'm gonna show you some tricks. You just hit the button on the front. You've got the battery gauge here. That lets you know how full your battery is. You got volume here as well. So just turn it on, go to your Bluetooth, DemerBox DV2, and it says when it's paired. Yep, and so inside the lid, if you're just jamming tunes and you're not around water or anything like that, you can leave this open. But if you're going into a wet or muddy, snowy environment, inside the lid right here is a plug. You undo this plug, it pops out, put it right in the top right here, give it a few turns, turn it on. Now you've got a waterproof speaker box. Now you can play it for the whales. I think there's a use for each individual person. The DemerBox, like this is mine with all my stickers, my things on it. You can kind of make them your own. That's part of the love of them. I have a connection with these because it's like a good belt or like a good pair of boots. You can cater your lifestyle to your DemerBox, but there's no other speaker that charges your things and holds all your stuff, keeps it dry and safe. That's what sets this apart. So I'd recommend y'all trying a DemerBox and bring it because it's so much more than a speaker.
All right, I got my DemerBox right here. Go to DemerBox.com. Use that code, Coach10. We're going to give you 10% off site-wide. This thing's amazing. I'm telling you. It's the most rugged Bluetooth speaker you can have. Take it when you're camping, all that kind of stuff. All right, we've got a lot more to get to. We are back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds.
New gear is its exact opposite of what you saw with the street gear. The jean shorts, the t-shirt, the ball cap, the sneakers. No, go the opposite route. And now lean into the opposite of everything you stand for. So I would begin to not work as hard. I would show up less. I would be untrustworthy, unloyal. I would lack respect in what I did. I would give up a lot. It's like, how can I take the intellectual property that people are familiar with, twist it? So it's like, this guy's insane.
Today, what an incredible edit there, our man Chris Van Vliet and his crew over there at Insight. And that's kind of how you felt about John Cena as he turned heel today, cut a promo, and was #1 trending around the world on X and on social media. I am the coach. Big Tommy C is here, and so is Gabby. We'll get to promo school in a moment, but Vince Russo, the Coach and Bro Show right here at BTT Studios. He also weighed in tonight, sent this in on Cena and Cody. Producer man, roll tape.
Yo, Vince Russo here from russosbrand.com. Listen, man, you wanted it and you got it. As a matter of fact, you waited 3 weeks for it, bro. The anticipated Cody Rhodes, John Cena showdown leading straight to WrestleMania. Pointed the sign. Everybody pointed the sign like a freaking idiot. 3 weeks you waited for it. And what did you get, bro? You got a goose egg. You got a nothing. You got a bagel. You got a 0. Let me remind you what happened at the Elimination Chamber. Cody Rhodes was hugging John Cena. John Cena took a step back and punted Cody Rhodes right in the ball sack. Then Cody went down and Cena continued to put the boots to him. So now after 3 weeks, Cody finally comes face to face with John Cena. And what does he do, bro? He calls him a whiny bitch and drops the mic. Bro, you know what I always make the comparison to? What was yesterday, bro? What was yesterday? Yesterday was 316. So let's make the comparison to Steve Austin. Steve Austin gets kicked in the balls, and he's got to wait 3 weeks to face the guy who kicks him in the balls. Do you think Steve Austin is going to sit there and talk to the guy? You think he's going to have a conversation with the guy? You think he's going to make funny faces? No, bro. He's going to kick his ass. But not Cody Rhodes, bro. Don't want to mess up the suit. Don't want to mess up the pocket watch. So I'm just going to call you a whiny bitch. Bro, deflated 0. And on top of that, I'm going to say when nobody else says, bro, these overseas fans, the most obnoxious people you ever want to see, bro. Bro, what do you do when you buy a ticket, bro? Do you have to give them your singing voice, bro, so they can see if you're good enough to get in, bro? The chants, the singings, bro, like absolute imbeciles. And then I hear, well, Vince, that's what they do at soccer games. Bro, there's only one problem with that. There's no soccer ball in sight. There's no grass in sight. There's wrestlers and a wrestling ring. But you want to do a show in Brussels sprouts, bro, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get an obnoxious crowd, and you're going to get a lot of nothing in a 3-week anticipated promo. Point at the sign, everybody. Wrestle.
Oh, that's my partner on the Coach and Bro Show. You can catch us every single Monday and Thursday on our BTT YouTube page. You never know what he's going to say. You never know what Vince. Clearly me, Tommy, and Gabby, we liked it, but not him. All right, we have one of our premium members, Abass, says, I think Cena is barred from any physicality until he finishes the Matchbox movie in Hungary. He'll get physical when they're back in the States. Maybe, Abass. That might be true. That might be true. All right, thank you to Vince for sending that in. I love that guy. All right, it's time. Horrible segue by me, but I've been up a long time today. I've had 3 different flights today, so you got to give me a little bit of a pass. But it's now time to go. You know where we're going, to promo school. All right. Now, Gabby, I'm going to start with you because speaking of promos, on Monday, I'm going to call it Monday Afternoon Raw. How about we call it that? Monday Afternoon Raw. They send out Seth Rollins, and we're going to talk about Vince McMahon coming up in about 25 minutes from right now. But the one thing Vince would never, ever, 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 ever do is go to a place that you've never been before and talk about 2 of your biggest stars not being in the building that particular night. But that's exactly what Seth Rollins did. What did you make of the fact that he came out? There was nobody else. All he did was come out. He talked. The crowd didn't really understand what he was going to say. They sang, as Vince Russo just said, and then he left. But he said, I'm going to go confront Roman Reigns and CM Punk on Friday at SmackDown. The crowd's not going to see them in the building on SmackDown. Your take?
I mean, not only did that not make sense, first of all, let's just start with the fact that the entrance, him standing in the ring, the singing, it went on for a very long time to the point where I was like, is this still happening? Am I watching what I'm watching? Because here's the thing, to follow what had happened at the beginning of Raw, where Cena was, taking in the crowd and Cody was taking the crowd, you can't even make the comparison. So at that point I was like, all right, yeah, we get it. You know what I mean? They're singing your song, whatever, get to what you're going to say. And if what he was saying about Roman and Punk, if they were huge mega heels, maybe the crowd would have been excited. But I'm telling you right now, that crowd would have much rather seen Punk, and the ceiling would have blew off the place if Punk showed up. So Rollins, say what you got to say and get out of there, because you're loved, but the people you're talking about aren't hated enough for you to be getting the reaction that you need to be getting. So I just think it was too much. It was too long. And like you said, don't talk about people that they wish they could be seeing and they're not going to see at all, because now you're going to see them on SmackDown. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I can't believe that Triple H and the creative team decided to do that. That is wrestling promo 101. Is you don't talk about the guy that's going to have the musical interruption, and you don't talk about, Tommy, your biggest star in the company, Roman Reigns, and then a guy that's over like Rover, that's CM Punk, and you tell the crowd, hey, thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for spending a lot of money on tickets, but you're not going to see these 2 dudes at all. Your take?
It's ridiculous, Coach. It's TV 101. Hey, Belgium, guess what? I'm going to talk about Roman and I'm going to talk about Punk. Take your chocolate and go home because they're not coming here tonight. I'll see you in Italy while I'm eating pasta with them. It was a joke. Seth Rollins was a time filler, what we call in TV production, because I have no idea what the hell he was talking about. And he held the mic up and we heard the, oh, for like 10 friggin' minutes. Give me a break, Seth. It was a ridiculous promo. It made no sense at all. It didn't move any storylines. And you screwed the fans by saying, hey, Roman and Punk, I'll go see them Friday in Italy. Unbelievable.
It's starting to, you guys are watching The Last Word live on Stadium, YouTube, or social media. It's starting to feel like, to me, Gabby, we're seeing a lot of old videos about how Seth was when he first broke in the business 10, 12 years ago. And it seems like to me, as real as this thing is with CM Punk, and I tease all the time because he throws the worst punches in the business, and it's not close. But I feel like Seth is almost reaching at this point because he feels like he's being left behind because the main guys are Punk, Roman, Cody, Cena, and Rock, and there's no real place for Seth Rollins right now.
I mean, possibly, but guess what, Rollins? Why don't you dig into that and put that into the promo instead of the BS that we're being told? Because it would be way more believable and it would probably make me like you way more than what you're feeding me. Because guess what? We just saw an amazing Raw at the end of Raw last week with what happened with you and Roman and Punk. And you're just coming out happy, shaking hands, saying, yeah, I'm excited, like, blah, blah. Like, why are you so happy? Roman just came back and shocked everyone. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't know what's going on for WrestleMania. You're probably not even going to be main eventing, headlining anything, nothing's set. Why are you so happy, Seth? I don't really understand what you're sitting around, happy to see everybody, welcoming everybody to the show. You should be a little bit more pissed than you are. And I think for you to be the one to talk without Punk being there, without Roman being there, why don't you be a little bit more honest about it in the promo about how you feel instead of just being, as Tommy said, some kind of filler, because it's just becoming now Seth comes on, I hear the chants, and then I want him to get off. Like, I'm not excited about seeing him on my screen anymore, and it's a shame because I used to be.
So glad that you just said that. Tommy, we forget about carrying over from one show to the next. And if you just got your ass handed to you at Madison Square Garden and Roman Reigns caused you to lose that, he caused him to win, but he really lost, and then he beats him up. If I'm Seth Rollins, I'm pissed. I don't care if I'm in Brussels. I'm pissed that I didn't get a chance to beat CM Punk 1, 2, 3 clean. That's what I'm pissed about. But Gabby is spot on. We forget about what happened the last time that we saw him, and because it's so much fun to do your normal entrance. But if you want reality-based television, it should have been music, come out, walk right to the ring, walk in and say, cut my music, and cut the promo. Your take.
Yeah, he doesn't do that, Coach. He plays to the crowd. Can he be? We begged for this. Can you be serious once? Don't wear this goofy outfit. Come out. You walk out. You get in the middle of the ring. I'm friggin' pissed, man. I had this guy beat at Madison Square Garden. All of a sudden, I find myself being dragged out by Roman Reigns because of Elimination Chamber. And to boot, they're not even here tonight. I would have cut a promo, them not being there. Do something about it, right? It was a big ball drop by WWE not having Roman or Punk there. If you're going to travel on a tour, put them in there. It's just ridiculous. We waited how many weeks for Cena? We're waiting until Friday for SmackDown to see what's going to happen with these guys. I don't know who's writing this stuff, Coach, but it wasn't like we used to be in the old days. Oh, you're there? Well, they're all there. You're getting it on tonight. Right, Coach?
Yeah, Mike agrees with you. A-Bass agrees with Gabby. Hey, Gabby, I'll give you 25 seconds. When we used to run every single week, 4 days a week, there was never an option of missing a show. Even the biggest stars were there every single time. They've completely changed that mindset.
And it's a shame, by the way, because this is Netflix we're talking about. We're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. How are you not having these big stars to continue the storylines? And by the way, it muddles what just happened. When we talked about that main event on Raw last week, we talked about how good it was. And now it's kind of like, okay, now we'll forget about it because moving on, I'm not even excited for the next thing because we just wasted a Raw without having any kind of continuation that's moved the storyline or got me excited to keep it going.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see what they decide to do. But at least for 30 minutes, we had Cena and Cody tonight, but right now, if I'm Seth Rollins behind closed doors, we know these guys have egos. I'm trying to figure out, am I losing my mojo? Just a little bit. All right, still to come on the other side, we're talking the ladies and also Vince McMahon. We're live on Stadium. Let's go.
Another thing, Tommy, this drives me crazy. So now word on the street is Booker T is training Travis Scott to wrestle. Here's the thing, Tommy. Please, if correct me if I'm wrong. Why is it that anybody can be a professional wrestler? Tommy, when's the last time a wrestler trained to play in Major League Baseball, to play in the NBA? When's the last time a wrestler trained to play in the NFL or the NHL? Why is it that anybody, including Travis Scott, can just train and become a professional wrestler, man, just like that? Anybody can do it, Tommy.
Yeah, and then he's about 120 pounds, and he's got a receipt coming to his ass. Because if I'm Cody, I'm popping that sucker right in the face. What he did to Cody was unheard of, man. You don't do stuff like that.
Have a receipt. Producer man, give me Tommy Carlucci. Don't think that I didn't hear what you and Vince said about me as I was sitting in the Phoenix airport today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a receipt coming, Tommy Carlucci. Don't think for one single solitary second. Are you kidding me right now?
That's my Italian brother.
Yeah, but Gabby is right. Vince is right. These celebrities are like, yeah, I'll just go train in my backyard and then pop your boy in the side of the head. It doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Listen, some of them have been great. I think Bad Bunny was awesome. You know what I mean? Sometimes they come in and but there's a difference too, right? Bad Bunny has been a fan of pro wrestling for a long time and he loves and appreciates it. He talks about growing up being a fan. So I think it's a little bit different, but I do think it takes it away, like the specialty of what it is, especially for these wrestlers that have put the time in for it. When like a Travis Scott comes in, injure someone and then is like, oh, I'm going to do it now. And like, because he is who he is and he's a rapper, and whatever, he's Kylie Jenner's, baby daddy. That's how I know him.
Well, word on the street is that Booker T is training Travis Scott. If they give Travis Scott a real match at WrestleMania, people are going to lose their minds. All right, we are back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is the last word. I am the coach, Big Tommy C. Gabby with me here live on Stadium, on socials, all over the place. Now, the last word brought to you by NBAshop.com. You can get all your favorite NBA merchandise. We cross-promote like crazy. Your heart's delight. And tell them BTT sent you. Now, there was a segment tonight that you could hear Gabby AF screaming all over this world. But I thought to myself, would we, flip the script? All right, the ladies came out tonight, and Gabby, we had a contract signing. And of course, Adam Pearce, our resident overacting GM, was out there as well, and they couldn't get anywhere until out comes Rhea Ripley. And she beats them both up. She grabs the contract. She signs it. She goes backstage. Adam screams at her. They fight. Then all of a sudden, there's Bianca. There's Io Sky. They all fight. It was a mess. But I want you to break it down for me, because when it comes to the women, right now they are driving, the booking is driving you crazy.
Coach, I'm trying. I'm trying so hard to be like, it's going to make sense. You know what I mean? It's going to make sense what they're doing. I'm going to be excited for it. I can't wait for the match. And it's just not happening for me. The whole time that this contract signing is happening, I'm like, when is Rhea Ripley's music hitting? Because I need them to just pop off for Rhea Ripley, which they did, by the way. The second her music hit, that crowd went crazy because Rhea is very much over. And I keep sounding mean, and I don't want to be mean against Io, because I've said this to you. She's a phenomenal wrestler and I do enjoy her. And I actually think she got a much better ovation from the crowd today than I've seen her get anywhere. And as a champion, especially, which it's only been a couple weeks. So that's great for her. But I just don't understand the entire reasoning as to why it's necessary. Like, I don't see the necessity of it being a triple threat. I don't see why Io being champion is going to make this storyline better when it comes to the feud between Rhea and Bianca. I don't get it. It doesn't make the selling better for me. And honestly, it's a little immature that she signed her name on a piece of paper. So now her argument is that it's in the contract. Like, he's Adam Pearce, he can print out another piece of paper. I'm like, did you sign it in blood? I don't understand why that is so permanent that now it's a thing because she signed the contract. Guess what? He could tear up the contract and print out another one. Like, it's the storyline. It just doesn't make sense. It's just immature to me. It makes me angry.
I know it does, and you're not being negative. You're just giving us your take. If you want to hear your voice on national television, you can become a premium member or do it via super chat. Abass is a premium member. He says Gabby's right. EO seems shoehorned in. I think we have to remember, guys, that Netflix is now a worldwide network. It's not anymore just USA and the United States. And Asia is a really big part of their fan base. And I think that's the entire reason, Tommy, they gave her the women's championship. The problem is that the show is done in English, and she doesn't connect with the audience because she doesn't speak very good English. The other part of this is, why would she pull Bianca off of Rhea? If they're fighting, I would just stand back and let them beat the heck out of each other. Why would she care unless why would she care?
Yeah, I don't know, Coach. That's what I was going to say. Hey, Io, if one of those two participants are going at it and you're facing one of them, Bianca, why would you step in there and try to stop the fight? I'd sit on the turnbuckle and watch them beat the hell out of each other. Hopefully Bianca gets hurt, makes it easy for me at WrestleMania to win. Yes, Coach, this is a joke, the way this storyline is going. And I agree. The contract was for Bianca and Io, not Rhea. So how is it relevant at all? It's a ridiculous thing that she did. And let me see my Adam Pearce invitation here.
Yes.
Put the glasses on.
I love Adam Pearce, so I don't care. I think he's funny.
You think Adam Pearce is funny?
Yes.
Is that what you say? Oh my gosh. Oh my God. That's where we will agree to disagree.
Oh, get it.
I think he's a severe overactor, especially when you compare him to Nick Aldis on SmackDown, who I think is terrific. I think Nick's terrific.
I love it.
So it begs the question, guys. So we're seeing these three, and we have been critical about how long it took us to see Cena and Cody. Well, what about what we saw at Elimination Chamber with Jade? She was a part of all of this stuff, and she looked like $1 million. Have we taken that storyline other than social media forward with Naomi and Jade and Bianca and all of that? I think right now they're really struggling because everything is going towards WrestleMania. And I think right now, Gabby, they're forgetting about some of the details and some of the other storylines that if you were really creative and really, really good, you could weave them all together, and they're choosing not to do that.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Jade, what I do like about it is I wanted Bianca to kind of get away from Naomi stuff because I think she was needed for this WrestleMania to be its singles action, especially against Rhea. But I do think they're going to focus that a little bit more, hopefully on SmackDown. That's where we've been seeing more of Jade with the Naomi. If you did tie it in and made it some kind of distraction for Bianca, that's believable for me. I think there's a lot of things that they're not hitting. Io is also still a part of Damage Control in some way. Is that any kind? Are we going to tie that into it? You know, like there's a lot that can happen and then a lot that's going on that just there's no reason for Io to even be involved in between what's going on with Rhea and Bianca at this point. And that's where it's lost for me. Io is not acting like a champion. Cody is acting like a champion. He's being challenged for whatever at WrestleMania, and he's like, guess what? I don't care. Come beat me as this person. I'm going to beat you up. Io is a teenager who looks like a teenager next to two huge women, and she's angry that they're not giving her respect, so she's fighting the two of them, fighting each other. It's literally immature is the only word I could think of when I think of it, because a real champion would be like, I don't care what you guys do because I'm champion. I'm going to beat both of you if I have to. If I don't have to, I'll beat Bianca, but you could beat her up if you want. It makes no sense. That's why I'm angry.
It feels like a young kid playing wrestling.
Yes.
And then you make that comparison to Cody, who is at the top of the food chain and acts like he's at the top of the food chain. And to me, at the top of the female food chain is somebody that in the last 3 weeks, Tommy, we've completely forgotten about. Now, she's still on TV with Raquel, but if you're creative, I like that Liv has Raquel as this big bodyguard type, and she can do her thing, and she doesn't worry about very much. But as we get closer to WrestleMania, I think Liv has, and I never say this because I hate when talent says this, earned the right as, to me, the biggest female star, not just on Raw, but in the company right now. And right now, she does not have a storyline heading to Vegas.
She has nothing, Coach. And really, let's take a look at her resume in the past year. She's been a women's champ, right? She's carried that championship to another level that is not being handled right now with Io Sky at all. They get a reaction every time Liv had the title. You don't get nothing from Io at all. She won the Saudi Arabia thing, right? The ring and the crown jewel, whatever that is. And now, again, just like Cena, just like Cody was in the summer, they had nobody for him to face. We'll give him Kevin Owens, no storyline, whatever. It's the same thing happening to Liv. I just don't get it. The girl is a superstar, big time, top 5 superstar in the company right now.
Abass really liked your Adam impersonation, Tommy. Could you do that one more time for me, just so I could see?
Sure, okay, hold on.
If you don't mind. He does.
Yeah, he's way over the top, dude. That's what we call him, a bit way over, dude. Calm down.
Way over the top.
Yeah,
and he gets multiple pre-tapes every single week.
Yeah,
every single week. Gabby, what do you make of the fact that Liv, who 1 year ago, it's crazy, we started behind the turnbuckle 1 year ago. It's hard to believe. We haven't even been on that long, and we're already on network television, which is awesome. But we were very, very, very hypercritical of Liv, that she did not have what it takes to carry the female division on Raw or on SmackDown. I've eaten that crow. I have owned that. She has not only done it, but she's done it in spades. But now it's almost like she's on the outside, and we're 2 weeks away from April, so like about 4 or 5 weeks, and right now it doesn't seem like Liv has any storyline that they could even make relevant in the next 5 weeks.
It's crazy because I was like you when it came to Liv. I was like, I don't have a lot of faith that she can do that. I wasn't sold on her on the mic. I wasn't really sold on any of that. And then with the evolution of what has been happening with her, I think that she's completely turned my mind differently, and I do believe in her. But what's funny, Coach, is we're now at the same thing that has happened when I talk about the issue with Charlotte Flair. Everyone is like, where is it? What's happening? When we were getting the real Liv story, every week people were like, when is it ending? We're getting this too long. Now it's still going. Are we still continuing? Are they ending this feud? And now we don't have it anymore. And that's not really on TV anymore. And everyone's like, well, where's Liv? How are we doing it with that? Because now it's missed, because you don't know what you have till it's gone. And I say this all the time because you think you're oversaturated with people, and then it's gone and you're not given something that has as much legs as what we had. And we're like, oh, where's Liv? Where's a story we could sink our teeth into? Because that triangular story of Dom and Rhea and Liv was one of the most entertaining things of the year. No matter what you say, I don't care. It was. And now that Liv's not on TV, we're like, what are we going to do with her? We're missing her, because we are. So 1000% it stinks if we're not going to see her in any kind of storyline on the way to WrestleMania, because I know you don't like me to say it, but she's earned it, and I think she deserves it. Yep. Because everyone's chanting, you deserve it, to Io Sky tonight. But how? In what way did she deserve it? Because I don't know. Maybe personally in her life she deserves it, and she's had a crazy run in her career, but I haven't seen anything from it from the WWE to know it, so I'm not believable in it.
Maybe she's super over in Brussels. I don't know. Maybe they love Io Sky.
So you're going to give her the championship and a match at WrestleMania as champion for Brussels?
No.
It's not even my favorite vegetable.
I hate Brussels sprouts.
I actually love Brussels sprouts. They're delicious if you make them well. But
Brussels is the chocolate capital of the world.
Do love chocolate?
For real?
Yeah,
that's the chocolate capital of the world?
Michael Cole said tonight.
Oh,
well, if he said it,
I didn't listen to all the commentary tonight. I kind of glazed through it. All right, coming up in 3 minutes, Did you guys see who showed up at Madison Square Garden a week after the WWE? Oh, yeah, the big man was there. We are live. It's the last word on Stadium. All right, we continue on here on our YouTube page. Thank you all. We don't care how you digest the show. We just care that you digest the show. And Tommy, let me start with this one, because tonight the main event was Finn Balor and Bron Breakker. And if you have the right feed, the last couple of weeks, Bron Breakker, they've had some incredible promos and packages. And I was like, man, where is this guy coming from? Reportedly, Paul Heyman has been working with Bron Breakker behind the scenes, and it is so incredibly obvious, because that's what he really needed. He's got the physicality, but he needs to believe, and now I'm starting to believe in how great this guy could be.
Well, the sky's the limit for him, Coach. I mean, he could be another Brock Lesnar, but a Brock Lesnar that can talk on the microphone, right? This kid's got it all, man. He's got the look, he's got the build, and he could work his ass off in the ring, and he hammers you when he wrestles you. And I got to tell you, man, I thought it was a good match tonight between him and Finn. I think Finn's a great worker, man. A lot of people don't see that. But boy, he is a great worker. They tell great stories in the ring. And Bron's learning from the best. I mean, Finn's been around a long time. And put those two in the ring at the same time, it puts Bron over, and obviously puts Finn Balor over also. So I like where they're going with Bron. What I didn't like was Penta coming out and challenging him at the end, because I don't even think Penta's on the same level as Bron. But apparently the company thinks that, because they're going to really push Penta, I think.
All right, I got about 40 seconds for you, Gabby. Are you a Breakker fan right now?
100%. I actually really enjoy Bron Breakker. And I've been a little bummed, because when we talk about Breakker and the last few Raws, it's been in a commercial break that they've been talking to him, and I don't see it because I get the commercials on the Netflix, and you're like, oh, did you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't see it. So I'm happy he really got to showcase himself a little bit more, because that's what we've been saying we wanted to see from Bron Breakker. I think he's only going to keep getting better on the mic, and sky is the limit for him. And I'm very much sold on him. And I think he's like a pit bull, which is my favorite kind of animal. So I'm excited about it. It's my dog. It's my American dog. It is.
What a shock.
What a shock. Finn Balor, by the way, just signed a new 5-year deal, so he's going to be here for at least 5 more years. We're back live on Stadium in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's the last word live on Stadium, or on our YouTube page, or on social media. Really big audience watching right now on social media. So thank you to all of you for staying up late, as you do every single Monday night. And this is the time of the show where we kind of go to something that maybe wasn't just a part of the show. It's time for the last word. All right, Tommy, I got to start with you on this one, because it was a big deal when Vince McMahon showed up at the Super Bowl with Shane, with Kevin Dunn, with The Undertaker. And I was like, is there something going on here? And then tonight, my phone started blowing up. Guess who was in the front row? His name was on the broadcast next to his lady on the left, Shane on the right, and the grandson as well. What do you make of Vince McMahon showing up now at really major sporting events and not hiding anymore?
I think he is in I don't give a crap mode. I think this is who I am. This is what's going on. I got nothing criminal. I'm just civil. I'm going to put out maybe 50 million. I got that. I got 4 billion in my pocket. And he looks sharp as hell with the green St. Patrick's Day for him. You can see that head. Look at the hair, beautifully coiffed and everything. And he is just saying, watch out, world, because I'm coming. And guess who is sitting next to him? His son, Shane. So, Coach, is there something up their sleeve? What do you think?
Tommy, there is no doubt about it. The Vince McMahon that I know, that I spent years and years next to, and for people who don't know, I was on his private jet. I was his assistant on TV, and there's very few people that know him better than I do. And I can admit when maybe I'm wrong. And we saw Conor McGregor at the White House today, and he went through some issues. I don't think people give a damn anymore. I think they're saying, you know what? It's ran its course. I see people in the chat saying, hey, bring him back. Because right now, Gabby, TKO and the new owners, there seems to be a disconnect with prices of tickets, being open about how they're going to change the business, and all this stuff Vince never would have allowed. So I believe in my heart of hearts, because I know this for a fact, because I've had people reach out to me. And I went viral a few weeks ago with this story, and nobody discounted it. I think Shane is pissed. He's jealous that Stephanie has a new show. And I think that he's hanging out with his dad now publicly to get a vibe. And I think that Vince is going to take that $6 billion that he cashed in, and at 80 years old, why would you not give it one more run? What do you think, Gabby?
I mean, at this point, what do you have to lose? It's kind of like in this, what I've learned of being in this business so far, and I'm not in it for a very long time, but what I've seen is people can kind of get away with a lot when you have a lot of power and you have a lot of money, because people tend to forget as time passes. And like, it is crazy, right? Like, you see him out in public. And what's crazier, Coach, is literally this weekend, my friends watched his documentary on Netflix and they were like, did you know about any of this happening? Like, they don't know anything, right? But they watched it and it was trending and they were asking me questions. And I was like, listen, that wasn't really my era of when I watched pro wrestling. Like, now I'm in the Triple H era and I'm all in. And they're like, isn't that crazy? And I'm like, it is pretty crazy. You think, you talk about it and you're like, wow, it is nuts. Like that we're living in this and that this all happened. And now he's out in public like it didn't happen at all. And he's just moving on forward. And there are the rumors of this new company he wants to start. And you're talking about Shane. And obviously the show with Stephanie is going to be massive. So do I believe it? 100%. But it's just, I just get used to seeing things that I don't believe are going to happen to continue happening. And I just accept it, which is sad. But here we are.
So Tommy, I got to ask you a direct question, and I know you're going to get quoted all over the place as we always do.
Uh-oh.
But I'm going to ask you this question anyway.
Go ahead.
If you got contacted by Shane O'Mac or anybody within that group, because we know he's already started to hire people, and he said, "Hey, Tommy, you've been a stage manager. You worked for me for a long time, and I want you to come back, and I'm putting the band back together," what would you say to that phone call?
Hey, Shane, where do I go? I'm in a New York second because I can give a shit what people think about me. That man, the chairman, his son, Kevin Dunn, gave me my life, and I lived a very good life. I put my daughter through college. I put my son through college. I got my daughter married. I lived a very good life, Coach. And whatever happened, happened. There's a million CEOs that have done a million things, just like so-called the chairman has done. I would work for Shane in a New York second. No problem at all.
GST Computing, one of our premium members here at BTT, says Vince brought a lot to WWE. He seemed to genuinely care about the fan experience. And that, I think, is what could lead to somewhat of the downfall of the current executives at TKO. Is they're about the almighty bottom dollar. And you can say, hey, Coach, a lot of companies are. Vince was not. Vince was about the fan experience, and he was about house shows and live events, and they're cutting over 100 out of the schedule this year. He never, Gabby, would have allowed a superstar of CM Punk status, of Roman Reigns, to say, you know what, we'll see you in 3 weeks. That never would have happened with Vince, and I guarantee you his head right now is popping off his shoulders watching this version of his old WWE. But the question is, Tommy says he would. If I'm being honest and I've got a lie detector on me, if the phone rang, I'd have to listen to it because I have a feeling that the number would be pretty big they would offer me. And at some point in life, you got to say, you know what? It's been long enough. What if, Gabby, they called you and said, hey, you've been doing a show with Coach and Tommy. We think you'd be amazing, which I do believe you would. I tell you this all the time. What would you say, Gabby?
I mean, I'm in no position right now to say no to anything, Coach, as you know, but which is different. I don't really have, but that's neither here nor there. Would I listen to the call? Yes. But I think I'm in the minority when I say that. And I think being a female saying I'm in the minority is for sure very much in the minority. To be a female saying, yes, I would take the call and listen to it, because I think it's a different world now. And I do think that there's, it's tough. It's a touchy subject. It really is when it comes to these kinds of things, because people feel a certain way that they kind of feel, and cancel culture is real. And people are more scared of that, I think, than they are scared of anything else. So you have to be smart about the way you do things and the way you conduct your business, because eyes are on you at all times. Do I think that means that it's never going to happen? No, I think he'll be back. I do think so.
And we got a couple minutes left here, Tommy. And I think what could help him ultimately is we're hearing a lot of negativity from fans about the price of WrestleMania tickets, that it's selling very, very slow. Well, you're talking $15,000 for a ringside. Who has that kind of money?
Nobody.
I mean, especially when it's about the fans, and you're doing a Fanatics, whatever, a fan fest. I loved Fan Fest at WrestleMania. I would sign up for all of it. And now, if you're doing that, how then do you tell a fan base, Tommy, even the last row at the top is going to cost you $800 per ticket? I think they're literally pushing people over to a potential comeback. And think about it, Tommy. If he came out and announced he was starting a new wrestling company, and what if he partnered with Tony Khan? Oh, my God. Can you imagine that the headlines for that day? Give me 45 seconds.
That would be incredible, Coach. If he lined up with TK, that would be – who wouldn't watch? That's my point. Who wouldn't watch? They are so paranoid over there on Washington Boulevard. You can't even bring up this guy's name. And by the way, if it wasn't for that guy, none of you would be sitting in Washington Boulevard and $1 million salaries and in a beautiful place. It's because of one man and one man only. That's why that happened.
Well, John Cena took a lot of flack, and we see some people, everybody, as you said, we have people in the chat that are like, nope, I wouldn't do it. He did this. But then Cena's been very, very vocal about his support never changing. Give me 30 seconds, Gabby, kind of wrap things up as we head towards SmackDown and head towards what I hope will be another Cody John Cena something next Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see the follow-up. I mean, aside from, because I think the Cody Cena stuff was phenomenal, we got to see the follow-up with Punk and Roman. That's what I'm most excited to see, following up what we saw of them last Monday. I know we're getting on SmackDown, whatever. I want it whenever I can get it. And honestly, something from SmackDown I was very much into was Tiffany and Charlotte, and I'm excited to see that kind of continue, because what's weird is I thought I'd be more into seeing Rhea at WrestleMania, and I'm more into Tiffany and Charlotte as the women's match heading into WrestleMania. So I'm excited for that follow-up as well, but it's going to be interesting, and I'm excited to see these crowds overseas because they're very hot for the product.
All right, 2 more weeks overseas. We're here live every single Monday night. Become a premium member. You get way more content. You got Coach and Bro. You got Coach and Company in the morning. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's going to do it for us tonight. For Tommy, for Gabby, for intern Dan, for producer man, I am the Coach. We'll see you next Monday night right here. It's The Last Word, live as always on Stadium. Take care.